I'm Director of Marketing, and my husband and I also own Aliso. We're a family company, for those of you who didn't know. And today I am showing you tips on food storage from the house. We don't have any food stylist or producers. My daughter's actually filming me, so this is very much a conversation from me to you. Food storage has always been really important to us, obviously for saving money and for not wasting food. We make a vacuum sealer, so that is something we care about a lot. But right now, with everything going on and the coronavirus and a lot of shortages in grocery stores, sometimes food storage has taken on really a whole new meaning. Sometimes we can't get what we want from the grocery store, and if we do get it, it feels really precious and exciting. And if we want to give our families variety too, maybe if we get a pack of sausage, we don't want to eat sausage every day until it's out, because we want to kind of have sausage here and there as a treat. And if we're able to keep that food fresh, it allows us to do that as well. So this week, the sausage story, I could only get one link of sausage, one single link. It was very exciting, but it's not the best thing to show you food storage with. So I'm going to show you hot dogs, which also feel pretty precious, although I had better luck with them. And so for my kids, so I've put several hot dogs in a bag. And with our vacuum sealer, you might have a different vacuum sealer, but with our vacuum sealer, you would just slide the bag in and let the hot dogs vacuum seal. And when it's done, okay, so now they're vacuum sealed, and so this can keep your food fresh for about 5 times longer. So in other words, like if something would stay fresh in the fridge for a day, if you vacuum seal it, it's 5 days. If it would stay fresh for 3 days in the fridge, then it would be 15 days. And a similar type of thing with your freezer as well. So with the hot dogs, the nice thing about our bags, I will say, since we spent a lot of time designing them, is you just open the bag and you can take out one hot dog and you can actually reseal the bag. I won't talk too much about the Aliso vacuum sealer until the end, if you're interested or if you have one, because I want this to be relevant for whatever sort of vacuum sealer you may have. There are a lot of foods right now that obviously are great to vacuum seal. For instance, cheese, because it's expensive, keeps it from going moldy. Another thing I really like to do is make my own chicken broth. I was lucky enough to get a chicken and made my own chicken broth. And what I do is I actually, again, no food stylist, but is I actually put it in a ice cube tray, freeze it, then take out the individual cubes and put them in my vacuum sealing vacuum bag, and then I can just pop out a couple as I need them. And that's really, really helpful. The other thing that we have, and if you're seeing this and you're getting our newsletter, I'm going to send a link to for a free download. We have a freezer staples recipe book. So one thing that's super helpful for me with kids is being able to make up, say, a batch of meatballs or mini pizzas with English muffins, pizza sauce, and cheese. And then I could just pop out a couple of mini pizzas, toast them, give them as a snack. Frozen pizza is another thing I have not had any luck with the last couple of weeks, so it's really great that I can make those at home for quick snacks. So another thing I really like to vacuum seal and for food storage is I love to portion my meat. Now, quick PSA, my daughter has told me that I am doing way too much meat and I am ignoring vegetarians. So I promise I will get to some things that are not meat shortly, and you could do this for veggie burgers as well. But the great thing about this is even if you're trying to cut down on meat, which our family is, it allows me to portion my meat, take out maybe one patty, which I did with a turkey burger, use it maybe in a pasta sauce or something, and then refreeze the rest. So I don't have to defrost a huge hunk of meat all at once and feel like I have to use it all at once. So this is really great. It also saves money. That you're not using as much meat at once. So, so this is really a great thing to vacuum seal. Now, if you don't have a vacuum sealer, there are still a lot of things that are you can freeze and reuse. One tip I like is with tortillas. I don't even vacuum seal my tortillas. I do use one of our back snap bags. I will give a small plug for these. They are not your normal food storage bag. They're super sturdy and they have a nylon layer. They're also BPA free. And the best thing about them is that you can wash and reuse them. So you just inside out your bag, wash it, dry it, and you can reuse it. And if you're vacuum sealing them, you can use them 10 times for the small bag, 12 times for the large, or 16 for the jumbo. And if you're not vacuum sealing them, I mean, I've used this bag for tortillas for quite a while. So it's really great. And tortillas are one of my favorite things because they actually pop apart really easily, even when they're frozen. And you can just use a couple, and even if you got a giant package from Costco, you're not having to eat tacos constantly for, you know, days on end. And they're great, but they're always there. And I love this for doing that. It's also great to use your vacuum bags for making muffins. You want to put aside a few, etc. Make up a big batch of pizza dough. Freeze some of the pizza doughs for later, so you're not having to, you know, get all the flour and yeast and things everywhere. All of those are really great ways to use your food longer. And for vegetarians or anyone really, avocados are great if you can vacuum seal them. Because it really keeps them completely green, completely fresh. If you used half of it, you just stick the other half in and vacuum seal it. It'll stay fresh for at least a week. It's amazing. Unfortunately, I don't have any vacuum avocado with me to show you, but that is a really great use. So one thing that I get really frustrated by in my fridge on a regular basis, and obviously even more right now, is when food gets moldy. So I'm going to show you some tomato paste that has gone moldy. Yuck. And to prevent that, what I should have done is used our own product. So now I've used it for pizza sauce, which is great, but it's a jar sealer. A lot of vacuum sealers which have an attachment port can work with the Liso jar sealer. There are also other brands that make a jar sealer. I'm going to show you a little bit about ours and how it works. So one of the reasons that you want to, what it does is it takes the air out of the jar, extra air out of the jar, so that it keeps your food fresher. It does not replace canning, and that is very important to remember. It does not replace canning. It will reseal the lid, and it will keep it fresher much longer. But for instance, if it's tomato paste, I would still keep it in the fridge because it doesn't replace canning. So with our jar sealer, and this also can be really fun to show kids, I've got a balloon here, and I'm going to use that to explain the process or the science behind the vacuum sealer, jar sealer. So you take a lid and you place it on, make sure it's clean, make sure it's not damaged. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. So then you take the jar sealer and you press it on first, but you don't have to worry about getting it just right, because after you put it on, you just twist it, remember righty-tighty, until it's twisted tight in place. And then we're going to attach the flexi tube and one end to the jar sealer and one end into the port. Now on the Liso vacuum sealer, you want to twist that port until you see the green flexi tube light illuminate. And when that light illuminates, you can press it. Other vacuum sealers, you would want to read your instruction manual. So we're going to vacuum seal, and as you see, the balloon is expanding. Now, this is a fun thing to show kids and also to explain the science of a vacuum. So what happens is that with air is is inside of the balloon and air is inside of the jar. And they're both competing to expand because that's what air wants to do. It wants to expand to the space that it can fill. However, when you remove the air from the jar, there's not air for the balloon, the air inside the balloon to compete with, and therefore it expands. So that's kind of a fun thing to explain to kids. Okay, so now we've removed the air from our jar, and we want to take off the jar sealer. So lefty loosey, we're gonna unscrew it and take it off. And as you can see, the lid has been sealed. Now, one of the things besides the twist motion of our jar sealer is it's patent pending is a opener. So the great thing about this opener is not only do you save your nails or your fingertips or whatever, but you're also usually saving your lid almost every single time. Because usually when you take the lid off manually or with a knife, you actually damage the lid and you're not able to reseal it again because it's bent. But with the opener, it not only makes it easy, but keeps your lid able to be reused. So that's really a great thing. Unfortunately, I wish I had the marshmallow, because if I had the marshmallows, the sound it makes when it opens is much better than with the balloon. But anyway, so that's a really great thing to do to keep things in jars fresh. Jams, as I said, tomato paste, which loves to go moldy. You could even do it with yogurts and different things. The Aliso jar sealer works with wide mouth jars. I do want to say that. So now, what else have I not covered? I would actually like to, at the end here, I'm just going to show anyone who does have an Aliso vacuum sealer a couple of tips for success with sealing. If you have an Aliso vacuum sealer, I'm going to share a couple of tips to have success with the Aliso vacuum sealer. If you are having trouble sealing, it's pretty much always because you failed to do a couple of key things, but they're really easy. The most important one is use your zip disc. This comes with every Aliso vacuum sealer, has a magnet on the back. I keep mine on the fridge. And it's a handy little tool which actually seals your bag effortlessly, so you're not like doing this and trying to make sure that the zipper, so this is a super layered zipper because it's not your average zipper. So with your hands alone, you may miss a spot and then it wouldn't seal properly, or it would lose seal after sealing. So that's why you want to use this, so that you get a tight seal on the zipper. So you just thread it here and pull it along. It's super simple. My mom, who has arthritis in her hands, loves it because she's not trying to do this. So it's really easy to use. That's the most important one. It's hands-free and kind of mistake-proof, really. You just slide your bag in. There's a thing that says where the bag edge is. It will start automatically, and it will stop automatically, and then it will tell you it's ready. And you can pull it out. So really simple. The other two things to really keep in mind are, if you're using liquids, we do have, well, with some of our, most of our newer models have a button for wet foods. So if you're doing something like, I had some chicken broth, or this one actually I think is a bone broth, but anyway, that I had made with liquids, you're not necessarily going to get every single bit of air out, but you're going to get a lot of air out. As you can see here, I probably have a little bit of air here at the top, but it did make a nice little dent there. So I took a lot of air out and was able to freeze my bone broth. So if you have liquids though, what you want to do is you want to keep the bag, we're going to pretend this is soup, you're going to want to hang the bag down, kind of off of something, and then slide it in. You're going to have the, you're going to hit the moist or wet setting, and then as the air goes out, as soon as a little bit of liquid hits the sealer, it will stop and it will do a double seal on that on that setting. Third thing is make sure to clean your drip tray after using, especially if you were doing anything with any liquid at all, even like a chicken breast, even if you were using the dry setting, but there was liquid inside, because that will take out all the extra liquid. You definitely want to clean your drip tray. I'm not going to show you how to do that because it depends on the model you have, but please check your instruction manual on how to clean the drip tray. Some older models have a different method than the newer models, so check your instruction manual on that. And so the other thing I'd like to say is that we're going to be doing a video every week for people, at least for the foreseeable future, and we're also sharing some other things online. We'd love to hear from you. If there are questions you have, if there are things you'd like to see, please let us know, and we'll do our best. Thank you to everyone for watching, and stay safe, and take care. Thank you so much.